friends too.
Silent Theory. We were talking to Mitch, the drum player for Silent Theory. What's going on, brother?
Not a lot. How you doing?
I'm doing great, man. And my whole life just changed 1 hour ago.
Yeah?
What just happened an hour ago, Mitch?
Well, I'm going to assume you're talking about Rocklahoma.
I am.
Yeah, we're excited to finally announce that we will be playing Rocklahoma in May. So this is a huge, huge announcement for us. Very exciting.
That is too cool. And I don't know if you remember us. We were actually in Las Vegas.
Rock in the Spring.
Yes, sir.
Yep. I remember. Randy, I'm actually on your site right now, and I was looking at some of the old photos, and I was like, there we are.
Good stuff, man. And you guys are just, I can't be happier for you. I cannot be happier for you guys, because this is great. I mean, my wife texted me and she's like, oh my God, Silent Theory has just been announced for Rocklahoma. And I was like, that's insane. Good job.
We're really excited. Thanks. Yeah. So we, of course, we knew our management team had let us know maybe a couple weeks ago, and then we knew the announcement was supposed to be Monday, and so we're super excited. Well, I don't know if you had been following it. Did you see that they couldn't announce because there was an issue with lineup or something? And I was like, of course that would happen. So we've just been sitting here like, when are they going to announce? But yeah, exciting.
That is too cool. So let's talk a little bit about Rock in the Spring. I mean, you guys were one of the bands that was on the lineup at the beginning. You guys were on ground floor. You know, you were the first ones to be initiated into Rock in the Spring. And then somebody from the local music scene saw you guys and said, hey, why don't you guys come out and play our club? How did that go?
Yeah, that's right. So it was really cool. So we were down there last April and had made a few connections. And one of the connections we had made was his name was Seth, who was he's from Vegas, and he was hanging around Rock in the Spring. He was with Joe Gingerella and some of the other people we were hanging with. And it was one of those things where being from Vegas, he was like, his band was playing some venue, not even on the Strip, it was off the Strip, the day that we had played. So we had played earlier that Saturday, and he was like, well, do you guys just want to come, jam at this on the wall venue? And we were like, that sounds like a lot of fun, actually. And we looked up their equipment. There was like 10 people in the venue, and it was like one of the most fun times we had. It was so much fun.
That's cool.
Just doing this impromptu, off the Strip gig, essentially. So yeah, it was fun. It was cool.
That's awesome.
We almost ran out of diesel, which was a little scary, but we made it.
So do you find it easier or harder overall to have three brothers in a band? I'm just saying, there's sibling rivalry, people fight.
Yeah, I would say overall easier. And the reason being is the three of us have grown up playing music together. So when it comes to things like writing, musically, we just gel really well together because we've been playing so long. They can anticipate what I'm going to do. I can typically anticipate what they're going to do.
Well, that's cool.
Music. Yeah. It goes pretty seamlessly for the most part. That being said, of the entire band, with the other two, I would say the three of us probably bicker and fight the most, and we're a little bit harder on each other, I think, than we would be with the other two members of the band. But all in all, it has really worked out. I don't think I would want to do it if they weren't in the band. So.
Oh wow, that's really cool.
We were certainly a close family growing up. You hear about those like siblings and stuff that grew up together, hating each other and fighting the whole time. And our childhood wasn't like that. I mean, of course we bickered, we'd have our little fights like, as siblings do, but as far as like actual fights or like any like hatred or anything, that did not exist. We were all really, really close.
Good stuff.
And have maintained that still to this day. Yeah.
Good deal, man. So, how do you feel your songwriting has evolved from your first album to your second album?
It was a night and day difference, in my opinion. And just to give a little bit of background on it, and I don't mind disclosing details. When we were at the time we did our first album, we were signed to a label, and that was back in 2011. We had we had our first singer at the time, and the label we were signed to was a heavy metal label, and they were trying to branch out a little bit and go a little bit more mainstream, which was why they signed us. We were the first, I would say, rock band that they had signed, and they really wanted that sex, drugs, and rock and roll theme. And so we had written our first album basically on that premise. And you know, we were proud of the album. It served the purpose we wanted it to. But like, just to be like totally transparent, you know, I've never done an illegal drug in my life, and here I am writing about, you know, sex, drugs, and rock and roll, right? So like, I felt a little bit, even at the time, a little bit like a poser writing it. You know, we are proud of it. We have come a long way since that album, though. So when you compare Delusions to Black Tie Affair, it truly is night and day. And I know anybody who's heard both albums will tell you the same thing. When we brought in Dakota, he just took like the lyrical content to a whole new level. And obviously I think our musicianship had gotten a little bit tighter and a little bit better. And we really tried to expand and broaden what we were doing. So just like mechanically and technically, I think it's just all around a much better album as well. So
I totally agree. I really do. I really do. So where do you guys get your inspiration for songwriting? As you listen to your music, you can see that there is a bunch of different things in there. I mean, you guys go from electronic to hardcore to melodic, and where do you guys pull from?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of factors into that. I think one of them being that we're a band that we want to write with substance. So every one of our songs either has some story behind it, some feeling, some reason behind why we wrote it. I know there's a lot of bands out there that will just slap lyrics onto paper to get a song. And you know what? Teach their own. If that's how they want to do it, that's fine. That's just, we're not that band. You know, we're one of those bands that I think the gift of music is one of the best gifts we can give, and the reflection of soul. And so all of our songs have substance behind it. So when we were writing Delusions, we were either writing about things we were observing, things we had been through, and so on and so forth. So I would say lyrically, that's where that comes from. Because we're all over the board, though, we're totally okay with that. The five of us come in with shared agreements on like classic rock. We all love, you know, the Beatles and Zeppelin and so on and so forth. But everybody has their own taste in music as well. Pretty eclectic from everybody else. So for example, George is really into like old blues and jazz. Bob's really into punk. And so it's nice when we're writing because you have five different, I would say, backgrounds and interests that contribute to the writing. And I think that's reflected in Delusions, which is exactly what we wanted. It's funny because it's like people either love that it's so eclectic or they hate that we didn't write 10 tracks of Fragile Minds, you know what I mean? So it's like, well, right. Can't win them all.
But I mean, Fragile Minds has everything in it. I mean, it's all over too. I mean, it's got, doesn't it start with the keyboard? Does it have a keyboard in there?
It actually has a live piano.
Oh, okay. I was
it's got a live piano and a live cello.
Yeah, and it's like all over the board itself. I mean, it's just like, wow.
Yeah.
And I know you guys. Yeah, I know you guys don't want to live just on that one song, but I mean, it's just got every element in that one song. Just shows how diverse you guys are, and it's amazing, man.
Yeah, thanks. We're really, really proud of it. Like, I'm proud of Delusions as a whole, but I mean, Fragile Minds will always hold a special place in my heart. We were excited about it, but I don't think any of us really anticipated the type of response that it got. And we're certainly not complaining by any means. But it's when we're playing live, even like when we're traveling, we're not in our area. It's amazing to start playing Fragile Minds and look out in the crowd and see how many people know that song word for word. I mean, that's
cool.
It's pretty special. Yeah. And it's definitely one of my favorite parts of each show. And so I think even moving forward forever, I'll always enjoy Fragile Minds and having it in this set. So.
Well, that's kind of an intro into my next question is, what is your guys' favorite song to play live?
So it would depend on who you ask in the band, and I'm gonna try and guess for everybody, and I could be wrong. I know George's favorite song is "Anyways," just because it's so bass heavy. Mm-hmm. He wrote a pretty cool, intricate bass part for that, so that's his favorite. I believe Dakota's favorite is "Alice," because he had written that. A little bit of context behind that: his sister growing up was really sick, and she was in the ER. And he had written Alice sitting in the ER waiting for her.
I am so proud of you guys. So happy for you guys. And where can everybody find your music?
Yeah, absolutely. So pretty much anywhere that you've got internet connection, you can find us. So we do have a website, just silenttheory.com. We are on all the social media, so on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. We're on all of that. So make sure you give us a like.
Thank you so much, Mitch. I cannot wait to see you at Rocklahoma. Let me know what day you guys are going to be there, and we're definitely going to get at least a one-day pass. We've been there for 9 years, but we've kind of shied away a little bit. Last year we did Vegas, and then this year, I don't know. Thank you so much, Mitch, and we will see you at Rocklahoma.